And I'll start about reality from Adam. How far back is that? How many years are we talking? However many. Right? So let's not get lost in facts. From Adam we come to Abraham. From Abraham we come to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam we come to you. Wow, that's a journey and a half. And then of course, you and I and we are in a reality. A given reality or a reality that we create. I would assure you that reality is what you create, it's not what you're given. So if we are in dumps, and I tell you we are in dumps, don't believe it. Honestly. Don't believe it. We're not in the dumps. Or we are. The fact of the matter is, whatever we believe becomes true for us. And frankly, from past to present is simply an accumulation of an insight or an outlook that we have inherited. But we are not slaves of that inheritance. This capacity called thinking that we've been discussing for so long is a capacity that we can shape every day. And intent is a key word for that. Now, I'm sure all of you have heard of the word intent. Intent is the command you give to your brain. Then who the hell are you? Because when I ask people, do you command your brain? They say, yeah. I say, who are you? They say, I'm consciousness. So psychology, of course, is very important to understand, because why we behave the way we do, only psychologists can guide you to that. But the point of intent is simply this, that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, and this human experience contains the brain and the body. Now the spiritual being was there, is here, shall be. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. So we are not finite beings, we are infinite beings having fun on earth. We've made our life miserable through two things. Insecurity. What is insecurity? Fear of losing something. If you remove that fear, what are you left with? You're left with life of joy. A lot of us forget that we are priceless, or we are worthless. How many of you are priceless? Think about it. I want you to know that you are priceless. Your greatness is not in your bank balance, or your net worth, or your position, or your title. You're all leaders whether you like it or not. Some of you are lousy leaders and some of you are great ones. Leadership is everyone's prerogative, and good leaders are great followers at the same time. Say it. So that, if you keep in the spectrum, we're talking of infinity. We're talking of eternity. We're not talking about today and tomorrow, last year and the year that's going to come. We're talking about life. The winning, the losing, and if you see the title, A Winning People Experience. A winning people experience is a perpetual winning experience. When you fail, you win. How? You learn. When you learn, you do new things and you move on. So my request to you all is simply this. Move on and remember that reality is not the given, it is what you create. So with that, let's move on. See success. Now, of course, I'm not going to tell you what it looks like. It's for each one of you to come up with it. Set your own standards, not the ones given down to you. Success is not becoming famous. Success is not becoming a millionaire. Success is not, I mean, it is anything that you believe. For me, it may be something. For you, it may be another. But one thing is for sure. Success is what you define it as, and you pursue it, not because you would look good in society. 𝗘𝗺𝗃𝗃𝗁𝗍, what will they say? Don't ever be driven by that. A disruptor is someone who has independence of thought, listens to people, but follows his or her own heart. And I want you to be able to do that. Even if you're pushing a cart, selling oranges. I mean, and if you're enjoying it, wow. Greatness lies in doing what you want to do, not what you have to do. And if you want to do something, and you could have done something else, isn't that good? I mean, it's sad if you do look at the statistics. It is sad. 90% of professionals are doing what they don't want to do. And you ask them why? Because they have to pay bills. Why? Because their wife will throw them out if they did not earn the living. You know, that kind of stuff. I don't want you to fall into that trap. I want you to be your own person, and you are great already. You don't have to prove anything in life. Or do you have doubts? Do you have to wait for the performance appraisal and the rating? Please, no matter how you are rated, you're okay. You know, even if you're below expectation, you're below someone else's expectation. You might be okay. Yes. So, vision and people. You know, Pakistan as a nation is at the most critical juncture, in my view. I think Pakistan is being cleansed of all the nonsense we've experienced for the 75 years. And it is becoming a platform for growth. Just a while back, 𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃, who was sitting next to me, said, we have created one thing, which is developing the human factor. Waleed seconded that. We're exporting talent. 1 million, 4 million, I couldn't care a damn. The world needs Pakistanis because we are producing them by the dozen. Every family is busy, employed, working. Let's have more. Why? Because Canada needs, Australia needs. They're desperate. How will they run their societies? Let's give a big hand to Pakistan. And what a wonderful way to outsource development and human capacity building. And outsource in a fashion where you don't have to pay a cent. These individuals go on ships and even die in the process, like they did in Yunnan. And they go at their own expense. They take the risk to develop themselves, waiting for a day when this country becomes the platform where they can come back and contribute. So we are a very fortunate country. Let's move from here to vision. What is vision? Dr. De Bono, have you heard his name?
Yes.
Dr. De Bono talks about past is logic, and logic will never get you there. Logic is only going to get you up to where you are. If you want to get into the future, you need perception, vision. Vision is as narrow or as broad or as beautiful as you want to make it. Your capacity, just like Alia Zafar just mentioned, you know, imagination. Wow. What you can imagine can happen. This reality, is it virtual or actual? The one we're in.
Actual.
I mean, look at that. I thought they were intelligent people. This life we live is virtual. And we are excited about augmented reality, virtual reality. You're living it. This is virtual. And those who take this seriously are actually punishing themselves for nothing. Hi, how relaxing. Oh, so this is virtual. Of course. Real, life is 3 parts. Part 1, before you came. You came from somewhere, right? Part 2 is where you are. Do we know how long this is going to last? Therefore it's virtual. Part 3 is life after. And that's forever. And that's real. We're not even preparing for it. I mean, that's how dumb we are. Prepare for part 3, you'll have a great part 2. And part 1 was the opportunity that we are currently enjoying. So just think about it. Anyway, let's move from here. Vision and people. You know, the worst thing we do is call people employees. They're not employees. You're not used. And this is global. You know. And HR has to change to RH. What is that? Can someone tell me? RH, I mean, HR is what? Human resource? RH is resourceful humans. I mean, we are resourceful. We don't rely on resources. We are resourceful. Think about it. Are you resourceful or not? So even if you don't have a vehicle to get you from point A to B, you'll find a way of getting there. You won't say, I couldn't come because. Resourceful. Alright? So that's people. Vision we've discussed. Let's move on to the next. We know a lot. But to know and not to do is not to know. So in Pakistan, majority of our people don't know. Why? Because they're not doing. Look at universities. I mean, vice chancellors, MPhils, PhDs. How many universities do we have? What kind of graduates are we producing? Beggars for jobs. Not confident members of society, wanting to contribute, wanting to make a difference, bold and disruptive. Is that the graduate population that's coming out? Meet the graduates, meet the engineers. Ask the engineer, what is engineering? And the concept is not clear to them. Meet a BSc computer science student and ask them to use a computer and leverage the capacity that it has. They have the language, not the understanding. And we want to transform that. Okay, so execution is what is required. I mean, कहते हैं ना कि having a vision and not executing it is 𝗥𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. Anyway, let's move from here. Expand your consciousness using PPRR. I mean, PPRR is simply this: practical, possible, relevant, and realistic. Some people, that's their sense of what is practical and possible, relevant and realistic. Then there are others, and then there are others. And if this is not happening, you're not educating, you're not learning, you are just at the first point, which is what I just showed you. Yeah? So, we want to progressively expand our consciousness. Everything is possible, except you becoming God. Everything is. And to say that, oh, this cannot be done, is arrogance. Why? Because you're applying your small mind to a big issue. Expand your possibility. How many of you know yourself? Show of hands. There's a wise audience as well. Yesterday I was in a conversation with an executive of a bank, a senior one, and during his talk, he said, you know, that though of course I would have known. I know myself. I said, excuse me? Excuse me? That's the problem. You don't know yourself. I don't know me. If you say you know yourself, you will cease to discover the magic that you are. How many of you have seen miracles on this planet? You've heard of miracles.
Yes.
How many of you have seen miracles? Well, let me tell you, please sir, if you could come to the stage. Please. I have just invited a miracle. Thank you, sir. You are a miracle. I am a miracle. Every time you look into the mirror, ask yourself, am I looking at the miracle? And you will not know how you became a miracle. Answer that question, and that's when your learning will begin. You are not only the best creation of God, you are miraculous. And I'm like, my life is so miserable, and no one listens to me, where will I go? I want to die. A miracle saying that is crazy. Please, when you leave tonight, this afternoon, this evening, you are no less than a miracle, and whoever you encounter, treat them as well. Alright? So with that, backbone of leadership, I mean, my favorite, faith is the first word, Iman. You have to have faith. Faith is beyond logic. Faith, in fact, is from part 1, part 2, and part 3 of life. And faith is what gives you hope. I'm full of hope. I've been here for 31 years, 20 years in England before this. Started my career in '76. I'm still 28. Younger than most of you. Right? So hope, and imagine hopelessness. Why live? Kill yourself. And why live if you're hopeless? Hope is life. And it comes from faith in yourself, in others, in the future, and if you believe in the divine, in God. Hope gives us the capacity to dream. 𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃 comes here, right? And he dreamt in a way that Elon Musk implemented that dream. Jeff Bezos implemented 𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃's dream. Pakistanis are too busy complaining and arguing and debating as to whether X or Y or Z is the right person, right? But we'll wake up, inshallah. And don't you remember what 𝗗𝗃𝗃𝗃 said? Wake up. This is a wake-up call. When we dream, we have a vision. Dream is a huge, massive canvas. Vision is a focused, sharp, amazingly engaging image of what we see things to be. And it's not something that's going to happen. You start living that now. You don't wait for it. It's there, but you live it now. How many of you drink 𝗏𝗏𝘃𝗃𝗃, the mango juice? I drink it also. 30 rupees, 35, 40 rupees. I see 𝗘𝗺𝗯𝗿𝗃𝗃. She engages all my emotions. That's a vision. And she's still young. Julia Roberts was my first love, but she's unfortunately past it now. It's after vision you get goals, you get tasks, and you get activities. The Urdu for activities, by the way, is sargarmiyan. In English, sargarmiyan sounds as though they're saying the head gets hot, and therefore they don't work. So, activities are nanoseconds, faith is eternal, dreams are usually 100 years, 200, 500 years, vision 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 100 years. I had the occasion to do a visioning exercise for a local company in Pakistan back in 2004, and the vision was for 100 years that they review every year. Pakistan at that time wasn't even 100 years, we're still 75, 76, and Pakistan is a young country. Allow it to wear its nappies. Allow it. Don't be so harsh. America, 350 years. The first 100 years was civil war. So we still have another 25 years of fighting to do. Alright? It's okay. End note. I love you. You are miracles. Don't ever forget that. And the reality is not what is being given to you. It is what you will create. Turn your organizations into safari parks because they are currently zoos.